Shalom leadership, shalom brothers, Most High in Christ bless. It's your brother Soldier Sadek here with the shoe shine video. I promised you, I know it's been a while. I've been broke and shoe shine is expensive. So I needed to get some more, but I got some more. Specifically this kind. This is the kind we're going to be using today. In order to show the results the best, I took the polish that was on my boot completely off, all of the layers. I removed them. So as you can see, this is what the other boot looked like. When the shine starts to go off, you use them, you walk, you know, you in the school, stuff gets dropped on your feet and all of that. It's going to cover the shine, you know what I mean? And you can buff it out. You could dust it off with the brush and buff it out. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I wanted to get it to be like from the base up. So we're gonna start with fresh. Like this is like a fresh boot. There's no shine on it anywhere. I removed all of it with the heat gun. So let's get started. All right. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2 socks, preferably clean ones, and we're gonna throw them inside the toe box. So you're gonna ball it up and put it in the toe box. This is to give the toe box some rigidity. You want it to be rigid, so that your wax doesn't crack on you while you're trying to put it on there. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, you'll see as the video continues. So with that in there, you want to make sure it's nice and, you know, rigid. You'll notice that the creases in my boot are kind of pushed out, which is what you want. You want there to be a nice, you know, rigid surface. Now my boots are a little bit dirty, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. So to knock that dust off, we have some options. Everybody can't afford, or not everybody has one of these. It's just a boar hair brush that comes with the shoe shine kit if you get one. But if you can't afford that and all you can afford is the polish, or let's say you can't afford the polish and someone gives you the polish, you can just take like a normal hairbrush, one of those like the wave, you know, wave spinning, one of those brushes, and you're going to knock off all the dust on the boot. You want to get all the dust off. Any little bit of dust, you might not see it, or you might not think it's a big deal, but once you put the wax on, the polish, it is going to show through the polish. It's going to bump. You're going to see a bump where the dust is. You want to make sure there's nothing there, because it will ruin the overall quality of your patina, your polish, your wax. Okay, so once you have that all dusted up, we're prepared for the next step. Sometimes you can use paper towel as well. If anything's stuck on, you wet it a little bit, and then you go over that. You remove whatever stains or whatever you have on the boot, and then you let it dry. You want it to be dry, so you give it like 10 minutes to dry. Let the leather dry out, and then you're ready for step 3. All right, so now we have to heat up the polish. The polish it comes in this container here. You open it up, you're gonna see it's in wax form. You see that? It's in wax form. If you touch it, it's waxy, right? It's not really going to come off on your finger too much because it's hard wax. In order for us to get this to the consistency for us to put it on the boot, it has to be a liquid, which means we have to heat this up. You have some options in heating it up. What I used to do was use a lighter. You could use a regular lighter, which I think is a bit dangerous. One of these butane lighters is a little bit more controlled, because you can control where you put it, and you can aim it a little better, right? It's going to get real hot, but you see how it's liquefying? You don't want it to burn, so keep it at a decent distance. You just want it to liquefy, right? That liquid right there is what's going to go on your sponge. A lot of polish kits come with a sponge. If you don't have a sponge, you can use that same brush that you use to knock the dust off. And if you're really hard up, you can actually rip up a t-shirt and use the t-shirt, a piece of the t-shirt on your fingers, on these 2 fingers here, to rub in and get the polish, and then put it on the boot like that. For today's video, we're going to use the sponge that came with it. I do have a brush that I use sometimes. But I just want to use this little sponge. They're nicer to use sometimes. And I want to preserve my brush as long as possible. All right. So we're ready for step 3. All right. So I'm using this. You guys could use a hair dryer. A blow dryer is called? Blow dryer. You can use a blow dryer. I actually have a heat gun. It's an old heat gun from Sears. It's like super ancient, man. But this thing works very well. So what we can do is we're going to set the shoe polish down. Because like I said, this thing gets pretty hot. You want to set it down. And you can use your lighter, like I showed you, at this distance, you know, get it nice and liquid. Or you can use the hair dryer. We're going to use the hair dryer for this video. You want to liquefy it. So you guys are going to see it liquefy. That's what we want. See that? And we don't want to burn it. This can burn it as well. You don't want to see smoke, because you'll start to see smoke. That means the wax is evaporating, and that's not good, because it kind of changes the consistency forever. It'll never be the same. So you see that liquid? You turn it off. We get the sponge in there, sponge it up, and we grab the boot. And you want to go everywhere. You want to get a nice coat everywhere on the boot. See that? We're going to do this a few times. So I'm just showing you how to do it this one time. Then I'm going to do it about 3 times off camera, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to do the rest. So you see how I'm doing everything, get everywhere with it while the wax is still liquid. It goes all over the toe box. And then we're going to get the backside too. But for right now, just this, all right? I'm going to do that again, and we'll be back with the next step. All right, so we're looking pretty good here. This is about 3 coats, which I think is good enough for a start. If we need more, we'll do more. But I'm going to show you guys the next step. This happens to be my favorite step. So, again, you can use the lighter. Heat gun or blow dryer definitely makes things much easier and quicker. But you can use a lighter. Just letting you know. So, one thing I didn't mention is when you're using the sponge or the brush or whatever method you're using, when you're putting the wax on, it's going to glide on. But as soon as it starts to give you resistance, it starts to drag a little bit, you want to stop, because it's starting to dry up. The wax is starting to dry up and harden, and you don't want to crack it. So you just stop, and then if you need to put more, you put more, but don't keep going. You see that? I got those patterns that I was putting it on all around the boot. Now you guys are gonna see what happens when you put the blow dryer to it or the heat to it. It's similar to what happened in the tin, right? It liquefies, but that's what you want. It's gonna liquefy, and it's gonna almost look like it disappears. But what it's doing is it's laying down, so it's evening out. The layers are evening out. It's getting a nice even layer. That's what you want. You see that? A nice even layer. You don't want those striations, those streaks there. You don't want those. We're going to get rid of all of those by going over it. You don't want to do too much, but you want all of those to be gone. That's how you know that you got a nice shell. You want a nice wax shell. All right? You want it to lay down. So it liquefies, and then it lays down. And then we're going to work with that part that's laid down and polish it like a mirror. So you see it's already starting to shine. But if we watch it for a couple of seconds while it dries, the shine actually goes away. It goes opaque. So now it almost looks like there's nothing on it, right? That's what's supposed to happen. So you're going to see it looks like there's nothing on it. But there's a few layers of wax on it already. Now the next part is just going to take some little bit of elbow grease, and we're going to get it shiny. So you're going to get a cloth. Again, I said you can use 100% cotton t-shirt. But some of the polish packs, they come with their own chamois, and you use this chamois because it has the right material to get a nice shine. You could use a cup with water. Use a cup with water, and you can take some water and you can sprinkle it on this, right, on the boot. You sprinkle it on the boot, then you take one of these, one finger or two fingers. I'm going to use one finger. I got big fingers. And then you're going to slightly go like wax on, like Mr. Miyagi. You're going to go all the way around everywhere. You're not going to press down hard. The friction is going to cause a shiny surface. It's going to cause the surface to shine. Now I have here a continuous spray bottle that I have water in. And what you can do is, you can get any spray bottle will work, but you don't want too much. You just want just enough. You want a mist. You want enough. I'm gonna show you how much is here. You want it to bead up like that. See the beads? That's just enough. That's what we want. We're gonna work with that. Now we're gonna take it. We're gonna put our finger in. All right. Start in the puddle of water. Okay, in the puddle of water. And you're gonna go in circles, like so. All around. Don't stay in the same spot. You're gonna go all around. And you're gonna shine. This is the part that takes patience. You don't want to push too hard because, again, you don't want to break that shell that we made of the wax. Okay? When it starts to drag, you see it starting to come up a little bit. That's okay. It's going to happen. When it starts to drag, that means that the surface is dry. You need to put a little bit more water. You take your fingers and you put it in the cup of water. You sprinkle it on the boot. And then you repeat. You keep doing this until you start to see it shine. It gets really shiny. And if you don't like that it's not too shiny yet, you might need to put another coat of wax. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this all over the boot. All over the boot. And we're going to try not to break that coat. We just want to buff it. We want to shine it up, right? And you're going to see, the more you do it, the shinier it's going to become all around the boot. It's going to get really shiny. So I'm going to do this a couple more times, and then I'll show you the end result. So I went over it twice, and you see it's starting to get that nice mirror shine. You know, if you really want a mirror shine, like parade shine, like they do in the military, you got to do this a few times. But this is basically it, man. Basically it. The polish kit costs about $10. It comes with a chamois cloth. You know, you can use a heat gun. Or use a lighter to melt the polish, cut up a t-shirt. You know, if you ain't really got it like that, which I didn't, you know, I had all this stuff, but I didn't even have the polish. So I was kind of like a fish out of water. I didn't really have what I needed, but now I got it so I can show you guys. And so I'm going to do this another 2 times and then shiny, and then I'll show pictures before and after because this video is too long. All right, y'all. Shalom. Most High Christ bless. Happy Sabbath.